Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we just had quite an interesting event drop today. So as part of the Halloween jobby, we've got the Jester Deck of Fate. And it's actually a kind of pseudo guaranteed legendary champion. Now, it's going to be a pricey one, don't get me wrong, but it is a different way of doing it. And I actually don't mind this. Like, I'm going to go through like the worst case scenario. We're going to go through what's up for grabs, but this for me is what a Deck of Fate should be, honestly. Especially if there's a hero that you actually want to get. A legendary champion out the other end for some pretty high cost is not necessarily the worst thing. It's kind of like a guaranteed legendary if you're doing it through a shard pool, which again, some of us save for that. So I think it's quite a nice mechanic that they've done with this one. You've got here, complete event objectives to earn Fate pumpkins, flip the cards. We know the flip the cards thing. We've seen it before, but I don't mind this one. And then you've got this kind of like 21 common cards, 13 rares, 6 epics. So you can see here, like the general stuff is kind of trash. You do have 5-star chicken in there, which is good. You've got the barrel. You've got a legendary tome. But then you've got 100 fragments sitting around. So obviously 95 fragments would be is the equivalent of getting 0. That's the worst thing about this, because Raid don't do like top up fragment mechanics in any way. Although maybe they would sell them to you a bit further down the line for cheaper than it's going to cost to do this. I don't know. But anyway, just you don't get additional fragments. That's the downside. Like for the people that are doing this casually, you're never going to get this event again unless Raid completely changed their whole structure, which they've done in the last few years. By the way, I think they should change their structure. I think they should give people different ways to get old fragments that people were kind of like close to. But anyway, that's another topic. So it's a kind of like all or nothing, I'd say, for people. But 100 fragments here. We're going to go through this champion in a second. You've then got, obviously, if you get lucky, the fate chests. I never seem to get lucky with this stuff, by the way. But if you get lucky, then you get a chance to get additional rewards as well. So if you was to get 3 of the uncommon chests in a row or flips in a row, then you can get any of these rewards, which are okay. Epic Tome, 4-star chicken, some energy, all kind of okay rewards, honestly. Get the rare one, pretty good. 5-star chicken, barrel, lots of energy, good gems. And then if you get very lucky and get the epic one, I've never done this. I've got the uncommon one a few times. I don't think I've ever even got the rare one, honestly. But if you get the epic one, then it's juicy rewards. You've got the big pool of gems. You've got the Eternal Soul Stone, Mythic Steel Tome, Legendary Steel Tome, the Feast. Like, it's all good stuff. So from that point, it's pretty cool. So in terms of how do you actually do it then, you've got 2 ways. And one way is obviously much easier than the other. The first way is to get artifacts. Okay, so get artifacts, get accessories. The more you get, the more points you're going to get. There's definitely an element here to say you can do the 2 side by side, right? Because the other thing is shard pulling. So if you was to, I don't know, let's say you burn, let's call it 5,000. Let's say, how many days is this? How many days? Let me have a quick look. So this is over 3 days. So let's say over 3 days, just bring my calculator up. Often I get this math wrong, by the way, and people get mad about it. I'm not a maths channel. I'm just kind of giving you a bit of a guide, right? But anyway, over 3 days, you're going to get something like 3,300, roughly. Probably a bit more than that, actually, but about 3,300 free energy, okay? And actually, if you're doing this fusion right now, you're going to be burning energy on whatever the current events are, okay? So that's happening. Even if you're not doing the fusion, you're probably burning your energy on gaining items, leveling champions, all that type of stuff. So you're going to be gaining stuff. So these points will come anyway, okay? So 3,300 energy, and then we're looking at how many items are we going to get with that energy. So let's assume, in fact, let's have a quick look. What is the event that we should be doing right now? Dungeon Divers is just running out, so it might be that we're actually in this kind of like tip over of things. So Dragon, okay, Dragon, let's say people are trying to be efficient with their Dragon tournament, and you're running stage 20, so 16 energy a run. So we're going to have 206 runs, with our free energy that we just get for playing the game. So 206, and on an average, let's say for doing Dragon 20 runs, you're probably going to be earning something between 5-star epics, 6-star rares. So So somewhere, I'd say on average, maybe like 16 points a run. So, oh, it just comes straight back. There you go. So pretty much you're at like a 1-for-1 with your energy for points. So actually, if you just went with artifacts in 3 days, you'd be able to flip 3 cards. Okay? It's nowhere near enough. It's nowhere near enough, right? We actually need, let's say you don't pick up your champion, your final fragments until the last turn of a card, which would be the worst case scenario. Well, there's 40 cards here, so that's 40,000 points. Okay, so gaining items is not going to be the way to do this efficiently. Pulling shards is the way to do this efficiently. And honestly, so for sacreds here, it's going to be a straight 20 sacreds if you had to flip every card. You don't have to, by the way. It might be that you only have to flip, say, I don't know, 15 sacreds worth of cards to get the legendary champion. Yeah, depends how lucky you are. If we were talking about void shards, so if we need to do 40,000 points, and we're doing it with voids, it's 350 per shard. That's 114 void shards to get a guaranteed legendary. Compare that to the actual guaranteed champions you get. Normally it's around 80 void shards, so that's not a brilliant deal. The 20 sacreds is probably closer to the norm. Sometimes the guaranteed sacred legendaries is like 15 up to 21, so there's a bit of a boundary there. If you're doing it with ancients, this is probably going to be terrible. It always comes out terrible with these. Let's have a look. 307 ancients. That would never be worth doing. And then if you had thrown primals in the mix, obviously you're never going to have enough primals to do this straight out, but primals would be 50 primals. Okay, so definitely feels like this is geared more towards probably you pull in a mixture of sacreds and voids if you've got those. And I would say like trying your luck along the way. How many sacreds do I have? So I've got 9. I've got a bunch. Don't forget you can top up with stuff like mystery shards as well if you wanted to. So yeah, I think I am going to do this. Just have a quick look at this champion. Like I'm a little bit out of the loop with the champions and stuff at the moment as well. So let's have a quick look. Obviously it is the pairing to the current fusion, okay? And I did a video yesterday where I just kind of said, look, I've not play tested this fusion because I've been away. And therefore, I advised people to go and just go and seek some other opinions, right? So I gave my opinion before he was released. I said it felt like his kit was a bit wonky. His stuff is okay, but nothing too crazy. Yeah. I then saw that some other CCs have put out videos saying not as bad as we thought. You know, that type of stuff. I got a comment yesterday saying, oh, I can't believe you're backtracking. You know, if you're swanning across the world, we use you as our source of information, blah, blah, blah. And I was just kind of like, dude, all I ever do is give an opinion. Like, I can't, if I don't use a champion, literally when I'm just reading a kit, all I can do is give you my best thoughts. And that's what I'll always do. If something changes, then I will change my opinion. Like, I'm only a guy, right? I'm literally just a guy reading a kit, same as you. So everyone can make their own decisions. Anyway, so Timid the Fool, I was just kind of saying, like, if he had an extra turn mechanic here, after he buffed to then go into this skill, I feel like he'd be a lot better. But the champion they're offering up in this event is actually his pair, which is Kaja the Rye. That means you will always get an extra turn off this A2, which means that you will get 2 AoEs in a row, irrelevant of what you're doing. Also means that whenever an enemy skill does not activate because they are feared, which is this passive skill, places a provoke on that enemy. This effect only applies when Kaja the Rye is on the same team. So I guess the question is now, when these two are together, does this make this event like really worthwhile? You know, is it something that suddenly people should be like, damn, let's get this going? So this is Kaja the Rye, normal legendary champion, so not like a void or something. First time I'm properly seeing the visual, by the way. Pretty sweet. Kind of like old school Jester feel. I like it. Okay, so very fast, 112 speed, 1300 defense is solid. Really good support stats, okay? We've got speed in all battles, which is always nice. A1 attacks an enemy, heals this champion by 10% of max HP, good base HP. If Timits are on the same team, heals them all by the same amount. That's interesting that it heals them all. That's quite nice because Timit is an HP-based champion. So as an A1, that's pretty solid. A2, revive all dead allies, 50% HP and turn meter. Then give them some pretty crazy buffs. crit rate, crit damage. If Timid that falls on the same team and dead revives with full turn meter and full HP. If he's on the same team and alive, resets the cooldown and instantly activates Kegs of Dread, which is the True Fear one with the increased accuracy buff. This is a nice A2, honestly. It does mean that, I'm assuming anyway, it means that this skill will activate whether people are dead or not. So it feels to me, I've not tested it, it feels like you would probably be able to do the crit rate, crit damage buff, and then Timid goes with this. I guess I should test that. That would be a pretty cool mechanic. So instantly you get your Kegs of Dread away just by Kaja having a turn. But obviously you lock out your revive for then 4 turns. You've got a turn meter fill here. Also removes debuffs from each ally if Timid falls on the same team. So this starts to give you some synergy in other content. Puts block debuffs on allies for 1 turn. I'd much prefer a 2-turn there, but that's on a 3-turn cooldown. All turn meter reduction effects are decreased by 50% against this champion. That's very solid. If Timid's on the same team, this champion is immune to turn meter reduction effects. An enemy tries to decrease this champion's turn meter when Timid is around, fills this champion's turn meter by the same percentage instead. Wow, that's actually cool. So yeah, I mean, this champion feels cool and much better when Timid's around. It just feels like Timid is not quite great. Like, if Timid's kit was just a bit better, then I'd be like, this is a no-brainer, that this is a must grab. If you are going for Timid, then that's a pretty solid pickup. But the only thing is, like, if you were going for Timid, you'd probably just burn all of your shards anyway for the summon rush and the weekend that's just happened. You've then got to get some points on Champion Chase. So I guess it means it's only really going to be available for people that are spenders. Yeah. And if you're a spender, I would question, do these two as a couple get into your teams anyway? They're definitely solid. I really like Kaja's kit when Timid's around, but I just don't know if Timid is good enough to make that pairing worth. It's an interesting one. Look, I don't know for sure. I'm going to weigh it up myself. Am I going to go for it or not? What do you guys think I should do? I'm out of the mix in terms of Timid unless I play like massive catch up, and I feel like I'm probably too far behind. I've just been away and stuff. So for me, it's probably just going to be a skip, which means I'm probably going to skip this event as well. But it's definitely an interesting way to do a guaranteed legendary. And I absolutely say, Ray, do more stuff like this in the future, because, you know, it might be that someone's able to pick up this extra legendary champion here for like 12 or 13 sacreds if they get lucky with flips. But there you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. Let me know what you think. I'll see you soon.